Scars tell stories, but some of them just won't shut up. In aging tissues, where healing turns from a coordinated dance into a chaotic traffic jam, scars can overstay their welcome, stiffen organs, and fuel chronic disease. This is the world of fibrosis, when wound healing goes off script and never quite resolves. And at the center of this drama are fibroblasts, the shape-shifting support cells of connective tissue, famous for their versatility, but increasingly infamous for their role in pathological scarring. As it turns out, not all fibroblasts are created equal. And when they go senescent, some become inflammatory instigators of fibrosis, while others may try to keep the peace. The question is, can we tell the difference before the damage is done? Fibroblasts are like the first responders of the tissue world. When injury hits, they show up fast, produce extracellular matrix, ECM, proteins like collagen, and help rebuild the tissue scaffold. Ideally, they perform their job and then either die off or revert to a quiescent state. But with age, repeated stress, or chronic inflammation, some fibroblasts become senescent, alive but no longer dividing and constantly secreting inflammatory and profibrotic molecules. It's a familiar story. Enter the SASP, the senescence-associated secretory phenotype, loaded with cytokines, growth factors, and matrix metalloproteinases. But here's where things get tricky. Senescent fibroblasts aren't just passive relics. In many fibrotic diseases, they're right at the front lines, stirring up immune responses, remodeling matrix, and nudging neighboring cells toward more dysfunction. What's emerging from the latest research is that senescent fibroblasts come in multiple flavors. In the lung, for instance, studies of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, IPF, have identified distinct fibroblast subtypes with wildly different transcriptomic profiles. Some are ECM-producing machines that ramp up collagen deposition. Others are SESP-heavy and immunomodulatory, actively recruiting macrophages and T cells to sustain inflammation. A few even express mesenchymal stem cell markers and may be involved in persistent tissue remodeling, resembling a kind of zombie progenitor cell that never finishes what it started. And while some senescent fibroblasts may arise in response to damage, others seem to be pre-programmed to go rogue with age, independent of acute injury. In systemic sclerosis, another fibrosis-driven condition that thickens skin and damages organs, senescent fibroblasts appear to play a double role. They're involved in both initiating fibrosis and preventing its resolution. Their SESP contains TGFSS and IL-6, two key drivers of fibroblast activation and myofibroblast differentiation. These myofibroblasts are the heavy lifters of scar tissue production, capable of generating contractile force and laying down dense ECM, but in chronic fibrosis, they lose their off switch. Some senescent fibroblasts even display partial myofibroblast signatures, blurring the line between scarring and senescence. Add an impaired clearance by immune cells, and you've got a self-perpetuating feedback loop. Senescent cells creating fibrosis, fibrosis creating more senescence, and so on. Now the spotlight is on single-cell sequencing, spatial transcriptomics, and machine learning to sort this cellular mess. These tools can map fibroblast subtypes across tissues and over time, revealing who's doing what, where, and when. For example, in aged skin and lung tissue, AI-based clustering has uncovered senescent fibroblasts with high levels of inflammatory mediators, contrasted with others enriched for ECM remodeling or lipid metabolism genes. Some of these subtypes even seem to cluster around blood vessels, hinting at roles in vascular remodeling and barrier dysfunction. Others are found in fibrotic niches that resemble microtumors of chronic injury. It's not one population gone haywire, it's a dysfunctional ecosystem, coordinated like a bad orchestra with too many drummers. Therapeutically, this opens up some enticing possibilities. Rather than targeting all senescent fibroblasts, we could aim for the subtypes most responsible for driving fibrosis. Senolytics, which induce death in senescent cells, may be useful, but they'll need better targeting mechanisms to avoid wiping out fibroblasts involved in tissue maintenance or regeneration. Xenomorphics could help dial down the SASP selectively, blunting inflammation without triggering cell death. Some experimental compounds already show subtype-specific effects. For example, navitoclax and FOXO4, p53 interfering peptides may work well against profibrotic senescent fibroblasts, while sparing those that promote normal repair. There's also growing interest in combining xenotherapies with antifibrotic drugs like pirfenidone or nintedanib to hit both the cellular drivers and the matrix they create. Ultimately, fibrosis isn't just about tissue stiffening. It's about communication breakdowns between aging cells that were once helpful but no longer know when to stop. Senescent fibroblasts, in all their complexity, are central to this story. Some are pathological architects, overbuilding without a permit. Others may be clinging to life because the immune system can't clear them. And still others might be trying to mediate the chaos but lack the tools. The task now is to understand which of these roles dominate in which diseases and to design interventions that are smart enough to discriminate. Because not every scar needs to be erased, but the ones that never stop growing just might.